Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about this show on Netflix.
Okay.
It's called Nobody Wants This, and I think you're really going to love it because it's got that kind of like perfect blend of humor and drama, right? And
Yeah.
I think you're really, really going to enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
just from the title alone, I'm interested. Nobody wants this. So what is it that nobody wants?
Yeah. So it's about all the pressures of being a millennial today, and the main character is Alex, who's just trying to like figure it all out,
Yeah.
all those expectations of like what we're supposed to be doing and achieving, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think that resonates with a lot of people, not just millennials, right?
It's
Like
totally.
just that feeling of like, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
Am I on the right track?
Hmm.
And, seeing everyone else on social media who seemingly has it all figured out.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so like relatable, because you see Alex going through these things and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's funny and lighthearted, but then it gets like really real and makes you think.
Absolutely. That's what makes a show so compelling.
Totally. And I think that's what they do so well in this show. Nobody wants this. Like, they take these, like, kind of heavy, weighty topics
Mhm.
and then use humor to, like, make them more digestible. Like,
Yeah.
you're not just getting bombarded with all this heavy stuff. You're actually enjoying the process of, like, thinking about it.
Exactly. And it's not just about making light of serious issues either. It's
Right.
about giving people a way to process them,
Yeah.
because sometimes just talking about these things directly can be really overwhelming.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But if you can laugh about it a little bit, it makes it easier to approach,
Totally. And it makes it more, like, relatable, too.
Absolutely.
Because we all go through these struggles, right?
Right.
But we don't always talk about them. So to see it portrayed on screen in this way with humor, it's like, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Exactly. And it's not just Alex either. They've got these like really interesting supporting characters too.
Yeah.
Each one like represents a different part of society,
Like they're all like these little mirrors, like
Yeah.
reflecting back at us different ways of being.
Yeah, yeah. You've got the overachiever who's like everything Alex thinks she's supposed to be.
Right. And it just makes her feel even more inadequate.
Totally. Then there's like the rebel who's, constantly pushing against the status quo.
Totally.
And then you've got like the mentor character who's always dropping these little nuggets of wisdom,
Yeah, but with like a sarcastic twist.
always, which makes it even better.
Yeah. It's like they're not trying to preach. They're just kind of like, here's some food for thought. Take it or leave it.
Exactly. But it always makes you think,
Yeah, totally. It's like each character is like a different path that Alex could choose.
Right.
And, ultimately it's about her figuring out which path is right for her.
Yeah.
Which parts of those other paths resonate with her, which ones she wants to reject, It's all part of her journey.
Absolutely. And it makes you think about your own journey too. Like what are those different paths in your own life and which ones are you choosing?
Exactly. And that's what makes Nobody Wants This so powerful, I think. It's not just entertainment. It's like this reflection of ourselves.
Totally. So we've talked about the characters, the humor, the drama.
Yeah.
But what is it like? What makes Nobody Wants This stand out from all the other shows out there?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's that ability to blend, these deep themes with that sharp wit and that really engaging storytelling. The writing is really clever and the dialogue's really poignant.
Yeah.
And they don't shy away from those serious moments, but they make them easier to digest,
Right.
They don't sacrifice the thought-provoking nature of the show.
Exactly. It's like they found that perfect balance.
Right. Like, you're entertained, but you're also like, whoa, I need to think about this.
Yeah, exactly.
And the source material mentions that viewers really connect with the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like they see parts of themselves in Alex and her struggles.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like we were saying earlier, her journey is so relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And the struggles she's facing, like, haven't we all been there at some point?
Totally. So it's not just like watching someone else's life. It's like looking in a mirror.
Yeah, and it's done in a way that's, like, visually stunning, too.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's got this, like, really unique and artistic style.
Mm-hmm.
It just adds another layer to the storytelling. It's not just what they're saying, it's how they're showing it,
Yeah.
The cinematography is so vibrant and really, like, complements the narrative.
It sounds so well made, like they really put a lot of thought into it.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
we've got these like relatable characters, sharp writing, a unique visual style. It sounds like nobody wants this really checks all the boxes for like a great show.
Definitely does.
But what's the bigger takeaway here? Like what kind of impact does it leave on the viewer?
Hmm. I think it makes you really question some things. Like, are you living a life that's authentic to you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or are you letting, society's expectations dictate your path?
Yeah.
It's a really powerful question that the show makes you confront.
It is, and I think that's what makes it so impactful. It's not just entertainment, it's like a conversation starter.
Exactly. And I think, a lot of shows try to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but Nobody Wants This really nails it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's definitely a show that stays with you after you've finished watching it.
Oh, for sure.
And it makes you think about your own life and the choices you're making.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, that whole idea of conforming versus like, carving your own path. Like, can you really be happy just following the path that's laid out for you?
Right.
Or do you have to kind of like, forge your own way?
That's like the central question, isn't it?
It is. And it's something that, Alex really struggles with throughout the show.
And it's something that a lot of us struggle with in real life too now.
Exactly. Like, do we, do what's expected of us?
Yeah.
Or do we follow our hearts, even if it means like going against the grain?
And I think that's what's so great about this show is that it doesn't give you easy answers.
Right.
It just shows you like the different sides of the coin and lets you kind of figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, it's like it's presenting the challenges and it's showing the triumphs, but it's not like telling you what to think.
Right.
It's just like, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think?
It's so thought-provoking, and it really makes you like examine your own life.
Totally. And, another thing that Nobody Wants This does really well is explore the importance of genuine connections.
Yeah, like, having those real friendships and relationships.
Yeah, exactly. And Alex's relationships with her friends, like both the supportive ones and the ones that are more challenging,
Right.
they really highlight how like complex human connection can be.
I think that's one of the things that makes it feel so authentic.
Yeah.
It's not like every friendship is perfect.
Right, like they show the messiness of it all.
Yeah, exactly. They show the disagreements and the compromises and the times when like those relationships are really tested.
Right, and I think that's what makes it so relatable because like who hasn't been there?
Right. We've all had those moments in our friendships where it's like, ugh, this is so frustrating.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But then you work through it and it makes the bond even stronger.
Totally. And I think Nobody Wants This really captures that dynamic really well.
Yeah, and it's like, they're not afraid to show those difficult moments.
Right. They're not sugarcoating anything.
Yeah, it's just real.
Raw and honest.
Exactly. It's like a breath of fresh air.
It is. So we've talked about a lot of the heavier themes in Nobody Wants This.
Yeah.
But, it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, the show is hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Like I laughed out loud so many times watching it.
Me too. And I think that's what makes it so brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, they manage to balance those, introspective moments with those moments of, like, pure comedic gold.
Yeah. Like it never feels too preachy
No.
or too heavy-handed. It's just like this perfect blend.
It's just, like, good storytelling.
Right.
And it's entertaining. And it makes you think.
And that's what we want.
That's the sweet spot.
Exactly. Entertainment that makes you think, and Nobody Wants This
Yeah.
definitely delivers on that.
It does. And, we've talked about the characters and the themes and the humor.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to mention, that the show is also visually stunning.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, the cinematography is amazing and the editing is really unique.
Yeah, it's like they really put a lot of effort into the visual aspect of the show.
They did. And it really pays off because it just adds to the overall experience of watching it.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's not just about what they're saying, it's about how they're showing it.
Exactly. They're using all the tools of filmmaking to tell this really compelling story.
Yeah, and they're doing it really well. Like it's just a beautiful show to watch.
So we've got, relatable characters, sharp writing, a unique visual style.
Yeah.
And of course, those really thought-provoking themes.
Definitely.
It sounds like Nobody Wants This has a lot to offer.
Oh, yeah. It does. Like a lot.
But, at the end of the day, what kind of impact do you think it leaves on the viewer?
I think it stays with you.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you think about your own life and your own choices. It's like it's planting a seed.
Ooh. I like that.
Yeah, and it might not sprout right away,
Mm-hmm.
but it's there. And it might make you start questioning things.
Questioning things, like what?
Like, are you living a life that feels authentic to you?
Yeah.
Or are you just kind of going through the motions,
Ew, that's deep.
It is, but I think that's what good art does, right?
Right.
It challenges us. It makes us think. It makes us feel.
And that's what Nobody Wants This does.
Yeah.
It does all of that and more.
Yeah, it really does. It's a special show.
Yeah, and it's like, it's saying it's okay to question those things, you know? Like what success really means or
Sure.
what happiness should look like,
Yeah, like those things are different for everyone.
Exactly.
And like maybe what society tells us we should be striving for, maybe that's not actually what's going to make us happy.
Yeah, and I think the show's like giving us permission to
Yeah,
figure that out for ourselves.
totally. Like it's encouraging us to define those things for ourselves,
Right.
to like embrace that journey of self-discovery.
Even if it's messy.
Exactly. Even if it takes us off like the beaten path.
Yeah, and that can be scary.
Oh, for sure it can.
But I think that's also what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, totally. Like who wants to live a life that's just like, predictable and boring?
Right. Like, where's the fun in that?
Exactly.
Right.
Like we're supposed to be growing and evolving and like, figuring things out as we go.
And making mistakes along the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like nobody's perfect.
And I think Nobody Wants This really embraces that,
Totally. Like they're not afraid to show the characters messing up and like learning from their mistakes.
And growing from them.
Exactly.
Oh.
Which is like so refreshing to see,
Because in real life, that's how it works, right?
Right. Like we don't just magically have it all figured out.
Yeah, we stumble and we fall and we get back up and
hopefully we learn something along the way.
And that's what makes life interesting.
Yeah. And I think Nobody Wants This really captures that,
It does, and it does it in a way that's like both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, we've talked about a lot of stuff today.
We have.
But I think it all kind of boils down to this. Nobody Wants This is a show that makes you think. It makes you feel.
Yeah.
And it might even make you change the way you see the world.
Or the way you see yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's pretty powerful.
It is. And it's like, at the end of the day, what more could you ask for from a show?
Right. Like it's entertaining, it's engaging, it's visually stunning.
And it makes you think.
Exactly. So yeah, if you haven't seen Nobody Wants This yet,
you're missing out.
Definitely check it out. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
And I think it's a show that you could watch multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And get something new out of it each time.
Totally. Like there's so much depth to it.
Yeah. And I think that's a testament to like the quality of the writing and the acting and the directing.
Definitely. Like everybody involved really brought their A game.
They did. And it shows.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, big thumbs up for Nobody Wants This.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, this was fun.
And to all of you listening out there,
Keep watching.
keep thinking.
And keep exploring.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.